All right, guys, welcome to episode 51 of Mark Anthony's Music Picks. I know I haven't recorded an episode in a while, and it's just been due to a combination of factors. The COVID lockdown that we're having out here, honestly, it's not helping much. I don't really get to go to the gym or get to socialize anymore, so it's kind of like I'm at home and the walls are like getting a little bit closer each day. So not a fan of that, but hopefully it can just get through the winter and we'll be all right here. But today I want to review an artist that I've been following since probably around 2008 or 2009, and that is Brock Van Way. Brock goes by multiple aliases. He also has the name Bvdub. He has Earth Household. He has East of Oceans, and I think that's it. There might be one other one that I'm forgetting. I think that's all. I think that's it. But even though he has 4 different aliases, more or less, they're all in the same vein. And I like to categorize his music or split it up into 2 different factions. There's the beats and the beatless. For the beatless stuff, it's good, but I'm not really drawn to beatless music. So for me, it's hard to really get sucked into it. On the beats side, though, that's all of the Brock Van Way productions that I own. So those are the ones that I'm going to present to you today. The first, actually, you know what? I want to talk a little bit about Brock too. I'm going to give you guys a link to an interview that he posted or that somebody posted of him from, I think, 2010. It's about 10 years old. And it's just him sitting down with a couple of music heads and just talking shop, talking about how he got into music. And it's so cool. Brock just seems like the kind of guy that you would want to sit down and have a beer with and just talk music. He just seems like he gets it. He had origins, he's from San Francisco, and he had origins in the rave scene in the early 90s. So, you could tell that that scene really got a hold of him and brought him to life. And he was a DJ for a while. He said that he used to spin house and deep house, and he got out of the DJing scene around 2005 because he said that too many DJs were getting into the scene for the wrong reasons. And I can totally understand what he's talking about. I did notice in the late 2000s that there was a crop of DJs that came into the scene that weren't really there before, that were kind of just there to get girls, get social status, get laid, however you want to say it. And he got turned off by that. And I think, simultaneously the commercialization of the scene that he was in kind of bastardized it or perverted it, however you want to say, and took away the original meaning of it for him. I haven't actually hung out with him. I haven't really talked to him other than some stray messages here and there, but he does seem like a really cool guy, and I'm hoping that I do get to communicate with him more in the future. So let me go through some of his titles that I think are totally awesome here. And I'm going to start with this first one. This is a relatively easy to get single. It's Earth Household. And the track, if I'm not mistaken, is called Too Little Too Late. Let me just double check that. I'm sorry, A Little Late for That Now. A Little Late for That Now. And this one has Brock's, this one I think really encapsulates his style. He has a way of choosing really distinct, hooky, beautiful female vocals, kind of looping them out over long durations and bringing in these soft up and down sweeps, almost like you're riding a very elongated sine wave. And the way that he brings all of it together, there's not really anybody else out there that's doing music like Brock, and I think that's why he carved out such a niche. One thing to note too, in regards to Brock's music, last time I checked, he has about 40 albums, so it's hard to keep up with all of it. I'm just going to give you the ones that I've found over the years that have beats in them that really do it for me. So that's what this episode's about here. The next track is under Brock's Bvdub alias, and Bvdub, by the way, stands for Brock Van Way. Like Bvdub is BVW. It's not Bvdub techno or Bvdub music, and I want to make that distinction because Brock made it clear that he is not a dub techno artist, and I actually agree. He's an ambient producer at heart, and sometimes he has beats and sometimes he doesn't, but it's still ambient. So this is a Bvdub track, and this one has a lot of emotion in it. Even on the cover, it has a lot of emotion. It's called, the track that I like on here is called Safe and Sound, and I'll tell you the story behind it. If you can see that, that's a picture of a traffic cop, and if you look here where I'm putting my finger, that's a husky that is laying on the side of the road, and it's still alive. He got hit by a car. And this traffic cop in China, this scene took place in China. I don't know where I read this. It might have been on a blog or something like that. But this guy was blocking traffic to make sure that the husky didn't get hit again while he waited for somebody to come and help. He didn't want the poor dog to get hit twice. And here you can see the dog is just he's kind of laying there, but his eyes are open, and the song that's on here, Safe and Sound, is really sad. It has a really nice female vocal in it, but it's trying to convey the sadness or tragedy of this scene. I'm not sure if the husky made it or not, but check this song out. I think you'll like it. Next one is probably Brock's strongest release ever in terms of just 5-star quality front to back, and that's his Earth Household double pack album. This is a double vinyl. There's tracks A, B, C, and D, and to be honest with you, I had trouble picking one out of here to present to you because all 4 are 5-star tracks. I ended up choosing When Love Lived because, you know, I just picked one and it was also the name of the album. But here you'll see again that long, loopy, drawn out, like 10 to 20 minute type vibe that Brock creates. This one's hard to get right now. It was really cheap for years and it just kind of like sat at $20 or $30, and there were copies here and there for sale. And now I feel like all the copies are in strong hands and there's not too many sellers out there, but maybe they'll do a repress of this. This is probably my ultimate Brock Van Way recommendation if you're gonna just buy one, and maybe hang tight and wait for a repress, like I said, because they're kind of sitting at $100 right now. Another side tidbit about Brock Van Way, and this is from the interview that I mentioned before, is that he's really into drum and bass. And the reason I'm telling you that is because he did a collaboration with ASC on Auxiliary. I'm not sure how you say it, but this is symbol number 2. This came out in, I think, the early 2010 decade, and Brock did 4 tracks with ASC. ASC is known for that autonomic sound, that new modern drum and bass style that came out in around like 2008, 2009, 2010, where D-Bridge, Instrumental, and ASC were making this really hypnotic, just sick drum and bass that it seemed to like cross genres, and it wasn't your typical crazy high-paced drum and bass. It had a different type of feel to it. So I'm guessing Brock tried to collaborate with ASC or felt inspired to after listening to some of his productions. And you'd think, man, that's a crazy thing to have an ambient producer and a drum and bass producer kind of collaborate, but it turned out really great. The track on here that I like is, I think, Symbol 2.3. And to me, it almost sounds like progressive house. I kind of got flamed for this for saying that on the Discogs forums, but I thought it sounded like an old Traffic song that Sasha used to play called, it was Traffic, Your Light, and it had a Petters 4 to the Floor remix. And the way that the percussion ended up turning out in this, it just reminded me of that, and it had a progressive house feel. A lot of people feel like it's not progressive house. They say it's some other genre. If you can categorize this better than progressive house, let me know what you think it is. You know, I'm all ears. And for my fifth pick, this is a bonus. Now, normally I won't stray away and go into remixes when I'm focusing on an artist, but I do want to give you guys a bonus pick here that was remixed by Intrusion. So this is Brock Van Way's album on Echo Space, White Clouds Drift On and On. Really, really beautiful gatefold cover here. Like, I love the blue and white, and it's a cloud all the way. And I'm gonna see if I can open this without having the vinyls fall out and get hurt. But look how nice this is here. Look at this nice gatefold. It has a poem by some Chinese man written in the middle of it. And I mean, I could look at that cover for days. I just love the artwork. You know, I'm tempted to almost put it up on my wall and put a frame on it, but I'm not gonna do that. The track that I like on here is this one here. I bought this very specifically just for one track, even though the whole thing's good. I like G2, I Knew Happiness Once, Intrusion Shape 5. That is, to me, one of Intrusion's best tracks ever, and you know, it's sonic perfection. When the beat starts hitting in this, and that nice tone that hits in the background, it sounds like somebody, like if you ever did the trick of holding up a beer bottle and blowing on it, and you get it to resonate and you get that tone. It just sounds like that type of a tone just carried out just almost to infinity, and it's just a perfect track. It's a perfect track, and Intrusion came in and just demolished this. So, not entirely a Bvdub / Brock Van Way production. Intrusion, aka Stephen Hitchell, came in, but just crushed it on this. I was able to get this vinyl from Juno. It sat in stock. I had this thing in my wish list for probably 5 years, and it never went out of stock. And, you know, looking at it, I was like, it's gonna be 20 bucks to ship it. Should I still buy this? And I wanted it for long enough, and I went and I bought it, and I noticed that it went out of stock, and I got the last copy. So I'm feeling like it ended up in the right hands, strong hands. I'm not getting rid of this thing. So that's all for my episode today, guys. I hope you enjoyed some of these picks. And Brock, you know, I'm hoping actually that I get to talk to you or meet you at some point. I was really impressed by your interview and how honest and straightforward you were. And you could tell that you really love the music. So I really appreciate all your music, and I'm looking forward to more of your releases. Take care, everyone. Have a good holiday. Peace.